So here's the palette I'm using for this painting. I have lamp black, titanium white. This is cadmium red dark, French yellow ochre. This is a Spanish color. It's just emerald green, and this is ultramarine blue. So you see the different brands. I'm not very particular about which brand I use, but this is it. This is the layout. So I'm gonna remove that and start painting.
So every painting, I try to challenge myself to do something new. This, I just wanted to find the figure in the board, so I just started with a pencil. Normally I do it with a brush, but here I decided to do it with a pencil. Sometimes I don't know what I do until I start painting. Um, in terms of the palette, this is a rather, well, somewhat simple palette. But I have to say that in addition to the colors that you see there, I use the phthalo blue zinc from Michael Harding and a basically a cad yellow. Um, so those are the colors I didn't show in the palette, but then I wanted to show you and let you know that in order to achieve some of the sky colors, you do need that phthalo blue. Um, what I do here is I'm trying to find the proportions. I'm just putting a line down and then comparing it, which is basically drawing. You put something down and then you compare against it and then adjust accordingly. This is what we call blocking or blocking in, just basically putting down a coating that is pretty close to the value of the final painting, but as you'll see, I change it considerably because it's kind of bluish now, and then it turns a little more, considerably more yellow, especially when you compare it to the color of the horse. But I was fascinated by the colors of this photograph. I want to think that it's either early morning or late night. I think it's early morning, but the blue of those receding hills, and just like there is no sunlight, direct sunlight on them, but there's this beautiful light that is just everywhere and nowhere at once. I just there's something about it that is magical that I really loved, and it inspired me. I was like, well, let me see if I can capture that. So sometimes people ask me, why do you paint certain picture, and honestly, I don't know. But in this case, it was to see if I could capture that atmosphere, and I think I did at the end. I'm pretty happy with the painting. See here, right here, you can see the drawing's way off. The legs are way too long, and sometimes it's good to step away and then come back and look at it. And I kind of like that the fact that it's a little distorted and it's not perfect. I mean, you could trace it and look exactly like a photograph, but in my practice of painting, I love rediscovering, the exaggerations or the things that you seem to emphasize is really the personality of the painter, and I like that instead of like what I call like almost painting by numbers when you do something and it's exactly the same as the reference, then it loses a little bit of the magic. I've done plenty of those, trust me. Um, but for my practice, I like to keep going back and forth and discovering what it is that I did wrong. And if you look at this, I mean, there's plenty of things that are wrong. Um, you'll see the pole comes out of the wrong side, like it's not on the right side of the gosh, what's the man? Jinete, the guy on top of the horse. You'll see it, but this hat specifically was giving me a really hard time because when you're looking at um, specifically perfect circles, and by no means is it perfect, but it was just a bit of a struggle, and I had to go back and forth a few times just to get it more or less close. And then I noticed that I gave him kind of like a hunchback, and I was like, oh, that's what was off. And that's the type of discovery I like to go back and forth and figure out what it is that is different and what I want to emphasize and what I want to keep. But there's the thing there about the pole. See how it's like it's a little higher up than what than the reference has, and I'm perfectly fine. I don't care. What matters is at the end that it looks like a cohesive picture, and I'm just using the reference as a starting point. I wanted to show this because, you know, typically you start with a big brush and then you go to a smaller one, but because I wanted to have it nice and uniform, I use the big brush, and here I'm using the smaller ones because I'm doing little details. And that is it. I shortened the legs a little bit. Oh no, it looks like that was still bothering me, that little bit of the hat. Well, anyway, I hope you guys liked it. I'm really happy how the horse turned out, and the atmospheric perspective, how the blue makes the mountains recede. And so, yeah, well, thanks for joining me again for another painting, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.